Video archive 34, Microsoft long. Trade duration 38 trading days. Entry $401.77. Exit $452. Gain 12.5%. This is my trading chart. All right, this one's just, I've recently come to the realization, shout out trade spotting, that this might be the best stock to trade on the market. And by might be, I mean is most certainly. Uh, this is what it looks like. Now, I didn't want to sell this. I just honing my stop loss placement, and I was following too tightly. But the way I did it was I had my position split into two halves, and one half no stop loss, just long term accumulation. The other half I was trying to run a stop loss on and trade it. I'll show you what I was doing now. Let's see here. So you see that white diagonal, this diagonal white line, right? This is the bear market of 2022, right? So this is in my analysis, I didn't disregard that, but I just kept in mind that was a macro. The reason Microsoft's chart looked like that there was a macroeconomic thing, right? Like this is COVID. This long sideways thing here was 2008. And here's the dot-com bubble. Here's 2008. So that's that sideways action. Anyway, so this basically just goes straight up unless there's some larger thing happening in the economy and in the macro, in macroly speaking. And another thing was on the 4-hour, the 200 period moving average, which is the red. Basically, you can see for many years, if you just bought it at the 200 on the 4-hour, you're getting rich. I mean, even if you bought it here when it broke through, yeah, you bought it 320, it dropped down to 304, but then it goes back up. Right, here's another example. So the confluence of that line of the diagonal trend line and which is the trend line from the bottom it put in at the bottom of that bear market before reversing and finally coming out of it. Which one of the beautiful things about this chart I'm just seeing now is it does this just classic. Oops, I need more space. New high, back down to test the previous high. New high, back down to test the previous high. New high, back to like just basically just doing that, right? Oops. So maybe that next entry is going to be right here at 425, 430. Anyway, real simple entry. We can glance at the RSI and just kind of get an idea of the signature that I was looking at as well. There's this interesting, look at all that volatility right in here too. The giant gap down, then the right back up, then right back down. I mean, wow, this is Microsoft, so that's probably only a couple percent, but 6% dump, 6.8% gain, 6% dump. Now I'm not sure. I don't really measure the volatility profile too well in my comprehensive analysis yet, but I'm sure something could be. There's some sort of multiple inferences could be taken from this, I would imagine. But I was just looking at this diagonal trend line, the 400, the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour, and then this RSI signature you see there, clearly divergent. And then there's kind of this, like, I don't know what to call it exactly. It's not technically divergence because this low is lower than this low. And the RSI has that same thing, but it's like nearly divergent. So it's like kind of like 3 touches, kind of, not actually, but kind of. And so once we got it back above the 200 here, I took my entry to glance at the 1-hour signature there. Anyway, then I got stopped out. Well, actually, let's also drop a fib on here, see if there's any confluence with my entry and a fib. It looks like I basically entered it at 382. I don't think I did that consciously. I ended up exiting just above the 1414 from that bit. But something interesting I found was this day where we had this intense volatility kick in. You see, I have this other trend line drawn on here. This is what I was using to define my stop loss. Um, I'm going to delete my actual trade for a sec just so we can see more clear here. Let's drop the 50. I was using this to define my stop loss. Something I found interesting about this was if you measure the elasticity of price on that side of this line, that's exactly the expression of liquidity we got here. A retest of, I guess there was a gap fill right here on the fifth. I mean, we're just on the 15, so I don't know how significant that, if that was actually a gap. It was not, but wait, was it? It kind of is still there, isn't it? Slightly, yeah. I guess that's technically still there, slightly. The low on this candle, 446 spot 51. The high 44. So there's a 47-cent gap there. I don't know this. I haven't looked close enough at this asset to see. I mean, it seems like most of its gaps get filled, although there is this gap right here at 400. I don't know. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting that the once it broke this slight trend line here, it expressed the amount, the liquidity, the range of the price action from above this trend line below it before then breaking back through it and going on to put in all-time highs. So I got stopped out, and then from where I got stopped out at 452, here, actually, I want my trade back on the chart here. From 452, it's up another 3.5%. That's all I got from my Microsoft trade. This one is such a winner, such a beautiful stock.